So it is a humble request to all of you to please stay connected with us. As you can see, I am already presenting the screen. If somebody will please confirm whether I am audible and whether you can see the screen or not. On the screen, it says 1 week short-term training program on biotechnology and its application in tribal agriculture areas. If you will please, if somebody will please unmute and just confirm whether I am audible loud and clear and whether you
Yes,
can
sir,
see.
that's clear, and the screen is also visible to us.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. And once in a while, I might have to toggle the screen because as you can see, there are a few other members who are still joining us. So, okay. And while I am presenting the screen, I may not be able to read the messages in the chat box. So, so I will also request you to please, whatever it is that you wish to communicate, if you'll please unmute and then communicate, that will be great. And like I said, once in a while, I will have to toggle the screen and come back to the Google Meet because there are a few members who are in the process of joining. So thank you so much, and let's begin with the session. So you see, as all of us are already aware, it is a 1 week short-term training program. All of us we know it as STTP, and the topic of this STTP is biotechnology and its application in tribal agriculture areas. This is the second batch of this STTP, which will be conducted from December 7th to December 12th of 2020 in online mode. And as all of you have already joined and you are aware that it will be conducted on Google Meet. Okay. It is sponsored by All India Council for Technical Education and it is organized by Ballarpur Institute of Technology, which is located in Ballarpur. As you can see, the topic which we have selected, application of biotechnology in tribal agriculture areas, it is very much relevant because our college itself is located in Ballarpur district, which is very near to this thing, and there is a lot of there are many tribals who are residing around us and within our district also. So to begin with, the timings for the first day, that is for the inaugural function, are the very first session will be from 12 p.m. as we have already discussed, from 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. It is only for today that we will be taking a 15 minutes break. Otherwise, for all other days, the break timings are different, so don't worry. But for today, we will have only 15 minutes break, which will be from 1:30 p.m. to 1:45 p.m. And the second session will be from 1:45 p.m. to 3:45 p.m. We will begin with our formal inaugural in some time now. Our honorable guest will join us soon, and then we'll begin. Before that, we just need to go through the basic rules of this short-term training program and understand what are the prerequisites. So these are the timings for the inaugural function, and let us now understand. Let us now take a look at the timings. Otherwise, so from tomorrow onwards, or for other days, the timing will be 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. So the very first session will start at 12 p.m. It will go on till 2 p.m. From 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. We will be taking a break, and the second session will be from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So this will be the timing for almost all the days of this short-term training program. In case of from time to time we will be updating you with the schedule, and also that in case if there is any change in the timings, you will get to know that accordingly. Okay. Now, you see, these are the basics. The entire STTP will be conducted on Google Meet platform. So, if there is any, I hope that almost all of you have already joined us in Google Meet, and therefore all of you are aware. We have shared this information in the WhatsApp group as well. The link to join STTP will be shared 1 hour before the start of STTP. Okay. So today the link was shared quite early in the morning. On other days also we will try and share the link early in the morning. However, it is still requested to all of you to please be patient because the actual process suggests that we should be sharing the link 1 hour prior to the start of STTP. So suppose that the STTP starts at 12 p.m. So you may expect the link before 11 a.m. of that particular day. The shared link will be valid for one entire day of STTP. So please try and understand this, that once the link is shared, that link is valid for that particular day. So for example, the link which is shared today is valid for the first session as well as for the second session on today only. So tomorrow you will get another link and that link will be valid for tomorrow's sessions. Then day after tomorrow, you will get another link. So every day you will get one link, and that particular link will be valid for that particular day on which you get the link. We are sharing the link on that particular day, and like for on Monday you will get the link on Monday only. This is to avoid any confusion. Okay. Then the link will be shared only on WhatsApp group named AICTE STTP Batch 2 at BIT. I hope you are all already members of this group. And in case if you are not the members of this group, then you are. It is a humble request to all of you to please, we will forward the link of WhatsApp group to you, and please be a part of this WhatsApp group, because whatever details like the link to join the meeting, and in case if there are any queries, the link to fill in the feedback form, everything will be shared only on the WhatsApp group. So I hope that you are already a part of this WhatsApp group. The link of this WhatsApp group was also shared in the form, registration form which you have filled in. And in case if you are not member, or in case if any of your friends are not member of this WhatsApp group, then please be a member of please become member of this WhatsApp group. We have also individually forwarded emails to all of you, wherein we have confirmed your requests, to your registration confirmation has been communicated to you via emails, and in that email also we have included this the link of this WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you so much for that. Now let's move on to the next slide. And this is where the timing of the STTP is mentioned. The time of STTP is 12 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. daily. So on and all, we can say that the timing for STTP generally is from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we have already seen. On Friday, an additional hour will be conducted for revision and practice test. Now you see, at the end of this short-term training program, we will be conducting a test. So we also have to conduct a revision and a practice test before that, and therefore on Friday we will be conducting an additional hour. And I hope that you will, all of you will join us for that additional hour, because it is very important that you revise for the test, because unless and until you don't score in the test, you are not eligible to get the e-certificates. Okay, now attendance will be monitored and is compulsory to receive the e-certificate. Please try and understand that your daily attendance is monitored, and it is monitored in number of hours as well. So by that, what I am trying to say is Google Meet automatically provides us an option, like there is an app that provides us an option, and it records your attendance in terms of hours. So please don't do this, that we came and we joined in only for a few minutes and then we left. That does not amount to attending the session. So unless and until you are in the room for complete 2 hour session, your attendance won't be calculated. Next is the STTP link is at times shared with the council and monitored by the council. So we do have a council, as all of us are aware, and this attendance is monitored by the council, and therefore it is a humble request that you please maintain your attendance. Attendance on the inaugural and valedictory are compulsory, because you see, on the valedictory functions day, we will be conducting a test, and appearing for the test is compulsory. At the same time, on inaugural, we have already mentioned this in the message that we have forwarded, that your attendance, today's attendance, that is your presence in the inaugural function, is considered as your final confirmation of registration. So therefore today's attendance is very important. If all of you are present today, only then it will be considered that yes, you are you are a part of this HTTP program. Now the final test will be conducted at the end of this short-term training program. Okay, and then e-certificates will be issued only to candidates who will score 60% or more marks in the test. Okay, so the final test will be a multiple choice question test. Okay, and MCQ test, almost everybody is aware it is a multiple choice question test. There won't be any negative marking in this test, so don't worry. And then the questions in test will only be asked from the revision conducted. So please make sure that you attend the revision, and you attend the revision well, and you make sure that you attend all the sessions very well, so that you are able to pass the test easily. Now minimum 80% attendance is compulsory. This is the minimum requirement. So almost you may consider that almost all the courses you need Then we have also covered some topics here. We have also tried to list out the topics which we have covered in this short-term training program. The very first topic is sustainable approaches for the occupational development of the tribal population through different biotechnological approaches. This topic will be conducted today in the very first session by our honorable chief guest, Dr. Shubhangi Pingle Madam, who happens to be a scientist in Indian Council of Medical Research from Bangalore, and she will be conducting this topic after the inaugural function today at 12:30 p.m., which will start at 12:30 p.m. And then next topic is introduction to biotechnology and its application in different sector, historical development, types and application of biotechnology. Then we have additive manufacturing, boon to mankind. I would like to share with all of you that most of these topics which were also conducted in batch one of this short-term training program were a huge success, were appreciated a lot by all the attending members, and they were really happy that whatever has been shared in great depth, and it was a unique experience for all of them. So I hope that you will also attend the sessions and benefit from them. Now, other topics which are covered are biotechnological advancement to minimize post-harvest losses in fruits and vegetables, biofuel, the benefits and afflictions, synthesis of biofertilizer and biopesticide from agriculture waste using biotechnological tools, and advances in biochemical engineering. So, you see, I will request all of you. Now, these are the topics that we have already, covered in batch one of this short-term training program, and this is where we will request you, in case if there are any suggestions from your side. We have already listed the topics that we will be covering in this short-term training program. However, in case if there are any suggestions from your side, then we would most certainly like to, most certainly like to communicate your requirements to our experts. And in case if such requests can be accommodated, we would like to do that as well. So all of you are requested that if there are any suggestions from your side, please do share in the chat box. Now we have listed the names of resource persons here. That is Dr. Shubhangi Pingle. She is scientist in Indian Council of Medical Research, Bangalore. Dr. G.K. Avari sir, he is head of the department in Department of Automobile Engineering, Government Polytechnic, Nagpur. Dr. Samir Deshmukh sir, he is professor in Lakshmi Narayan Institute of Technology, Nagpur, which is LIT, which is a very famous college. Then Dr. Radhika Markar ma'am, she is postdoctoral fellow in Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai, again a very reputed college. Dr. Prakash Giripuje sir, he is Market Development Manager of India in Valacro Biosciences Limited from Andhra Pradesh. So by now you must be aware that there are so many members who are, excuse me. Okay, so there are so many members, there are so many experts who are, just a moment, there are many people who wish to join. And here is again, to continue with the list of our experts, Mr. Pranay Raut sir, who is professor of Department of Biotechnology in Priyadarshini Institute of Engineering and Technology, Nagpur. Mr. Vishwajit Ambade sir, who is professor of in Department of Mechanical Engineering in TGPCET, Nagpur. I am sorry for toggling the screen again and again. However, it is very important that we admit all the other members also, and therefore I cannot help it. Then we have Mr. Abhijit Raut sir. He is a research scholar in DNIT Nagpur. In our last session, in our last batch, he conducted a session on additive manufacturing, that is 3D printing, and it was a huge success. Then we have Dr. Harit Jha sir, who is professor in Guru Ghasidas Vishwavidyalaya, Bilaspur, and then Dr. Sanju Patankar sir, who is ex-professor, ex-associate professor in GN College of Science, Chandrapur. So all in all, these are the details of this short-term training program. I hope that you will be associated with us thoroughly during the entire program. You will mark your attendance regularly. There is one more request to all of you, and that is to please, generally you are all requested to mute yourself during the sessions. However, as and when the experts require, as and when they request you to, they encourage you. And number of times we have seen that most of our experts, they will encourage the participants to ask queries or questions. At such time, you are all requested to unmute yourself and you can talk directly to our experts whenever whenever they encourage you to ask your queries or anything like that. In case if you are not comfortable to unmute yourself, you can always write in your query in the chat box and we can read out your query to the guests so that they can answer your request. Most of the sessions which will be conducted, or shall I say, all the sessions which will be conducted in this short-term training program will also be uploaded on our YouTube channel, on the YouTube channel of our college, that is Ballarpur Institute of Technology, and you can always view the information from there. Apart from this, there are, apart from this, from time to time, there will be some instructions which will be shared with you. For example, we also have an award for best participants, to which we say it is the best participant award for this AICT sponsored STTP. And in case if your attendance is regular, in case if you are interactive in the sessions, then automatically you will receive this award. In our last short-term training program, or should I say in the batch one of this short-term training program, we have already issued 7 members, like 7 members received best participant award, and we are not limiting this award in numbers, so even 10 or 15 members can receive this award, provided that you are regular in attending the sessions and you are interactive during the sessions and your questions or queries are appreciated by our experts. So these are some fundamentals that we wanted to discuss before we start with the session. In case if there are any suggestions, okay, I'm so sorry. So you see, the coordinator for this short-term training program is Dr. Archana Nimkar ma'am. She is professor in Ballarpur Institute of Technology, Ballarpur. And then co-coordinator is Mr. Neeraj Bhatt sir. He is professor in Ballarpur Institute of Technology, Ballarpur. Their numbers are also shared here. So in case if there are any queries, you can always get in touch with our coordinator ma'am or co-coordinator sir, and they will be more than happy to help you. Apart from this, if there are any suggestions from your side, please make sure that please make sure that you share your views with us. I will now stop sharing the screen. Okay, I will now stop presenting the screen, and all of you are welcome to share your views or to share your requirements. In case if you have any requirements that, sir, we want this particular topic to be covered, or in this particular topic we would like this particular area to be covered. We have already shared the list of topics with you, so you can you can just name those topics, and we will always communicate with our experts and see if that topic or that particular area in the mentioned topic can be covered during this short-term training program. Because we want this STTP to be more relevant for our participants. That is the reason we encourage all of you to share, to share your suggestions. So all of you are welcome to share your suggestions. I will mute now for a while. And as I have already mentioned, our honorable chief guest for today's session will join us soon, and then we can start the session. Until then, I will request Dr. Archana Nimkar ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, yes, ma'am. So, in case, madam, if anybody wishes to share any of the suggestions, I was saying that we would like to accommodate their suggestions in the STTP.
Yes,
Like,
sure, sir, sure. Yeah, all suggestions are welcome.
yes. And now I will request all of you to please be with us. And, if there are any suggestions, you can talk directly to our coordinator, ma'am. And I will get back to you in a couple of minutes because we will be contacting our honorable chief guest who will be joining us soon. So over to you, ma'am, for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I'm already joined. Whether I'm audible?
Yes, you are audible, ma'am. You are audible.
Okay, fine.
And there is one more request to all the participants, and that is, in case if you can log in with your name itself. By that, what I mean is, because we will be maintaining the attendance on the basis of the names that you enter while joining this Google Meet. So make sure that while you are joining with your own name, so that your attendance record is automatically maintained.
No. Already. Yeah, I have joined already. Am I visible?
Yes, ma'am. You are visible.
Okay.
Yes, so a very good afternoon to one and all present here. Our honorable guest for today's session, Dr. Shubhangi Pingle ma'am, has already joined us. And ma'am, if you will please confirm if I am audible to you.
Yeah, you're audible. No issue.
Okay. So let's proceed with the formal inaugural function. I welcome all of you. So once again, a very good afternoon to one and all present here online for the inaugural function of this short-term training program organized by Ballarpur Institute of Technology, Ballarpur. With great pleasure, we welcome you all to be a part of this inaugural function. My name is Abhijit Dehadra and I am your host for this short-term training program. Once again, on behalf of Ballarpur Institute of Technology and on behalf of the organizing committee of this short-term training program, I welcome you all with all my heart. Respected chief guest for this inaugural function, Honorable Dr. Shubhangi Pingle ma'am, all the respected faculty members and enthusiastic participants of this short-term training program, Honorable Patron of our institute, Mr. Sanjay Vasade sir, Director of Ballarpur Institute of Technology, Dr. Rajnikant Mishra sir, Coordinator of this faculty development program, Dr. Archana Nimkar ma'am, and organizing committee members of this short-term training program. It is indeed a great joy to have you all for the inaugural event of this short-term training program. It is to our observation very rightly said that by learning you will teach, and by teaching you will learn. So is our experience as well. And furthermore, in today's ever-changing and evolving globally connected world, learning is a practice that cannot be compromised with, especially so by the teachers, lecturers, and professors. Again, as rightly said, who dares to teach must never cease to learn. So I congratulate All India Council for Technical Education for engaging in this continuous endeavor of learning and providing such learning opportunities in the form of short-term training program to our fraternity to grow faster and better. So, dear attendees, we will also like to inform you that this is the second batch of the short-term training program, also commonly addressed as STTP. It starts today. It is a one-week short-term training program, which is and will be conducted from December 7th to December 12th of this year 2020. As you are aware, this STTP is sponsored by AICTE, that is All India Council for Technical Education. The topic of this STTP is biotechnology and its application in tribal agriculture areas. We would also like to inform you that batch 1 of this STTP was conducted from November 23rd to November 28th of 2020. Further, with immense pleasure and pride, we state that it was a parcel of interesting facts and in-depth knowledge sharing, clubbed with exclusive experiences of our guest speakers from both education and industrial sector. So we are now starting to celebrate learning in batch 2 of this short-term training program. I repose a lot of confidence in you that all the respected attendees of this program will make it a huge success with their presence, participation, interaction, and experience sharing. So let us all convert this FTP in a lifetime learning experience. Once again, I welcome you all to attend and participate in batch 2 of AICT sponsored 1 week short-term training program. And now I request the coordinator of our short-term training program, Dr. Archana Nimkar ma'am, to share her opening remarks. Nimkar ma'am, over to you.
Good morning, all. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are.
Yes, ma'am, loud and clear.
Good morning to all my dear participants and Dr. Shubhangi Pinge ma'am, the chief guest of today's function. It's matter of pride and immense pleasure for us to organize an AICTE sponsored 1 week short-term training program on biotechnology and its application in tribal agricultural areas. Also, I would like to extend my warmest welcome to all the participants across the country who have actively shown their keen interest in online learning. My friends, no one thought of the situation that we remain at home for such a long duration. Here comes new opportunity to explore opportunity of online learning in our educational sector. Whenever I heard the word biotechnology, I always remember the simple statement. There where is a life, there is a DNA. And where there is a DNA, there is biotechnology. According to me, a new technological revolution in industrial and agricultural sectors in the next decade will be substantially and beneficially influenced by biotechnology. There is a great potential for improving the agricultural productivity by modifying plants, animals, and microorganisms and developing techniques like vaccine, tissue culture, genetic engineering, etc. The purpose of this 1 week short term training program is to spread information about various biotechnological advancements and developments and make people aware, especially in tribal areas, by providing a common platform to biotechnologists, industrial managers, researchers, and professors. The main objective of this STTP program is to provide online virtual training and make all the individuals aware about various cutting edge technology used in agriculture, innovative methods, and hybrid skill mechanisms that will be required for agricultural development and tribunal areas. The online STT program will be delivered by eminent resource persons, speakers from well-known universities, institutes, and industries. We all have the opportunity to prepare ourselves for better tomorrow. I wish you all a fruitful and unforgettable experiences in the coming few days of this online STTP as we explore the e-learning and virtual classroom education. I hope that you will learn some of new things from this STTP. Let us all meticulously follow the advisory and precautionary measures laid down by the respective authorities and win the fight against coronavirus. Stay home, stay safe, and I welcome you all on behalf of Ballarpur Institute of Technology to enthrall and learn the new technologies. Thank you very much for joining us in this STTP. Over to you, sir. Abhijit, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for your opening remarks. And now we take great pride, in introducing to you our honorable guest for the inaugural function of batch 2 of this short-term training program. Our chief guest for the inaugural function is Dr. Shubhangi Kailash Pingle ma'am, who is a scientist in Indian Council of Medical Research, Bangalore. Dr. Shubhangi Pingle ma'am is presently working as a scientist in Department of Biochemistry of National Institute of Occupational Health, ROHC, Bangalore, ICMR, India. She postgraduated and obtained her doctorate from Rashtrasanta Tukadoji Maharaj Nagpur University. She has published 110 research papers in national and international journals. She has also acquired 15 years of research experience in proteomics, diagnostic biomarkers, development of ELISA, and animal cell culture biology. She has received financial support from DST, ICMR, CSIR, MOEF, DRDO, MOM, CMPDI, etc. She is a recognized guide in clinical biochemistry and medical biotechnology at Datta Mege Institute of Medical Sciences, which is a deemed university of Nagpur. She has received travel award from Department of Biochemistry, Biotechnology and European Science Foundation to attend international deliberations. She has established multidisciplinary research in biology and expanded into newer areas of research and development. She has one Indian patent granted and 10 submitted. She is a member of scientific committees with many awards to her credit. She is a reviewer of the journal BMC Complementary and Alternative Medicine and an editorial member of the journal European Journal of Clinical and Biomedical Sciences. She has completed projects costing more than 3 million US dollars. There are many areas which were for the first time implemented in the diagnostic field of research by her differing approach. So she has expertise in preventive measures of occupational health diseases that are used for beneficiation of industry workers. Dr. Shubhangi Pingle ma'am, it is a matter of great delight and pride for all of us to have you as our chief guest for the inaugural function. So may I request you ma'am to now please we would like to begin with the formal virtual inauguration. So for that please let me share my screen.
Yeah, sure.
Just a moment ma'am.
Sure.
Okay, I hope that the screen is visible. If somebody will please confirm.
Yes, screen is visible.
Okay, so this is officially virtual inauguration at the hands of our honorable chief guest, Dr. Shubhangi Pingle ma'am, and we welcome you all to. We now declare that the program is officially inaugurated. And now may I request our honorable chief guest, Dr. Shubhangi Pingle ma'am. Like I said, it is a matter of great delight and honor for all of us to have you as our chief guest today. And now may I please request ma'am to please address this online gathering and proceed with your session, please.
Thank you so much. I'll start. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay. so much, organizers, for giving me a chance to present over here. You all know you are not fortunate enough. I am also fortunate enough because I born and brought up from Nagpur area. So I always feel fortunate to my area where people are conducting conferences and workshops. Where I am very happy to present myself. Right. So I have tried to merge my area of work as well as whatever theme you have given. So it is now sustainable approaches for occupational development of the tribal population through different biotechnological approaches. Next. So we are working under ICMR. Just two line of introduction I would like to give. We are working on the occupational diseases, health of the workers, environmental issues, and industries. With the chemical factors, fertilizers, and pesticides are there. We are working on the health issues. We are service provider for dust, noise, and vibration monitoring. We provide consultancy in the research areas where industries and factories needs our help. There are certain diseases which cannot be combated or which cannot be worked by many people. So our institute, being a occupational health institute, we are mandatory to work on these lines, and it is really a great honor to work on these lines because no other institutes are occupying this kind of research. So we also do training courses for the doctors, PhD students, and dissertation programs. So what I learned from this workshop is we have to give some output to the uh, farmers, especially tribal farmers. Then I thought what we should plan, which is very common and they can do, right? It is really difficult if we give a heavier technology to them. We can have establishment of a small labs nearby to their areas and tell them to understand. But learning process and taking time is a huge task. So I thought a simple platform which can be provided to them is one of the projects. Last year, DST and DBT funded $5 lakhs for them, and it is simple a gorgam, which is a gawar falli, which we know all. We eat regularly in our food, and from that gawar falli, gorgam is one of the powder which can be isolated and manufactured. So dry gorgam seeds we have to take, and then it is multiple times grinding and sieving. Then we unrefined gorgon splits. Then we dehusking, husk can be removed, and the a main portion of a powder which can be flaking, milling, and packing, and the gorgon powder can be prepared. The uses of the gorgon powder are so many that you will be feeling that how it is important and it can be easily cultivated and where biotechnology can be applicable. So, am I visible and audible? Is it okay?
Ma'am, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. You are visible and audible also.
Right. So this is gorgum seeds, flaking and powder forming. This is chemical compound which is formed from the gorgum powder. So now what are the uses of this gorgum powder? See, somebody have told CEO, गवार फली को गवार मत समझना, $500 का खजाना है ये. That is really true. When I learned its uses and its importance, I feel that we should have a good platform to prepare gorgum powder and we can sell it out. So it is largely used in the form of a gorgon powder as an additive in a food, pharmaceuticals, paper industries, textiles, explosive, oil well drilling, and cosmetic industry.
Archana ma'am, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. You are audible. Madam has lost her connection, I think.
I also think the same. So all the members, all the attending members are requested to please stay tuned with us. We will confirm you in a while. Please be with us. I suppose that there is some connectivity issue.
Yeah, madam has connected, I think, now.
Yes, yes. Yes, ma'am, you are now audible. Actually, I think we lost the connection for a while and now you are audible. Please continue, ma'am.
Even the fish farming, being a fish food, it can be utilized, right? So the fish food in the water can be dissolved very timely. So it cannot be dissolved easily and fish cannot eat it and they will not die. So this is one of the additive in the fish farming, the pharmaceuticals, oil drilling. In oil drilling, emulsification should be there, and in emulsification agent there are the separation of compounds, so it is used in explosives also. It is highly miscible with the explosive agent. Then in paper industry, it gives luster and thickness to the paper. In textile industries, it gives good color to the textiles. And in carpet printing, we all know carpet is so beautifying to our home, and it is also used in mining industries also, using explosions and sometimes mixing with the chemical composition to make alloy and all. It is useful in mosquito coils also. It is useful. So how many uses of the gorgons are there? We can prepare insecticides and pesticides from this. Detergents and soap, paint industry are using these. Electrodes and brazing fluxes, plywoods, leather industries, foundry, tobacco processing, pencil crayons, adhesive, and mosquito coil. So there are so many uses of this. So what I feel, if this Gawar Phalli is disease free, if it is yielding high in the field, it is a good product for production. And this technology, like technology where the recombinant technology can be used, where the cultures can be done, tissue culture can be done, and plantation can be done, where the cloning and designing of the genes can be possible, and we transform into the cells, and we can get a good plant breed. So this technology can be used, and we can have a better plantation and better product. So, where biotechnology can be used to enhance the crop production. I have borrowed these few slides from other PPTs because this is not my subject. I tried to merge my subject with this. So I'm very sorry I brought from somewhere else. These are not my own slides. It provides cost-effective solution to the pest problem crops such as corn, cotton, potato have been successfully transformed through the genetic engineering to make a protein that kills certain insects. Then when they feed on the plant, there are certain proteins which are present, which if insects are being eaten by that, insects are eaten, then they can die and crop can be protected. Likewise, there are different kinds of crops are being genetically modified and transformed, like transgenic maize, stress-tolerant rice, then multiple insect-resistant cotton, GM rice, transgenic mustard, GM brinjal, and herbicide-tolerant onion. There are many issues of herbicides. Because of that, our own product cannot be grown easily. That all ingredients of the soil can be taken by the herbicide. So this is very important aspect. And transgenic mustards, it is so transformed that nowadays no seeds are being infected. Like tissue culture, where the plant's senescence, where the senescence of the seeds are high, that is very useful in culturing, tissue culturing, and being planted very easily. And in many of the crop products where the money making is necessary, the product should be disease free. So tissue culture is one of the major area where we are using for the plantation in the farming. So this is disease-free plant parts. The technique, we are taking disease-free plant part and we are using for the tissue culture. This technique allows for the reproduction of the disease-free planting material for the crop. For example, crop produced using tissue culture include citrus, pineapple, avocados, mangoes, bananas, coffee, and papaya. There are agriculture applications, improvement of the crop. So improve crop yield by introducing genes that confer resistance to the insects, tolerance to the herbicides, and resistance to the environmental stresses. Even drought, heat, and cold. So there are certain issues like drought, heat, and cold. We cannot control those things. So these are the seeds which can tolerate it, this kind of environmental issues which cannot be controlled by human beings. So these are the genetically modified seeds which are very helpful for the high yield and productivity. So this is a kind of a breakthrough in the agricultural processes. So create disease and insect resistance trees help meet demand of a good product as well. So this is 1D and 2D electrophoresis technique, which is known to many people. what I wanted to show from this slide, if we get the proteomic approach to the seeds or the yield of the crop, then we can identify what are the proteins which are different in the cultivated or transgenic plants. And that way, if the protein concentration or different kind of proteins will be higher and more, that can be identified and those seeds can be kept for the next generation. And it can be cultivated longer time with the insect resistant high multiple protein content seeds, and that can be utilized long term for the cultivation in the field. So there are aesthetic approach as well. The flowers, their colors, their looks, their fragrance, all can be improved with the genetically transformed plants. So if we get the increase of the productivity, the multiple yield can be there, and this is if in a acre, 1 acre of a plantation, if we could get the multiple output and multiple this yield, that will nothing like that. Nowadays we are using lot of urea. In that, what we are doing, it is like hydroponic plantation. We are using NPK in that, and we are not using soil content. If the soil is being healthy and we can use that minerals for the plantation purpose, the yield of the content of the seeds will be different. If it is natural and from the humus, then the content of the seeds is edible. If it is not, it will be highly diseased. The people will be highly diseased in condition if we consume. So how the transgenic plants are important, because we'll not use more pesticides and um, urea. So there are certain products which are being different, like golden rice we can see here. It is transgenic. There is another type of rice where which is very high in the vitamin A. So where the population is deficient with the minerals and vitamins, that particular plantation can be sowed over there, plantation can be done over there, so that the population can be disease free. There are plants which are virus free as well. Many plants are susceptible to disease caused by the virus, which often spread by insects. Controlling of insects is very difficult. There are plants which are friends to the insects, and the insects can be attracted to that plant, and that weedicide plant can be that insects can be catched by the trap. So there are different traps developed by the biotechnology, and that insecticidal trap can be used to reduce the insects so that plants can be saved, because the insects are vulnerable to spread the virus diseases in the plant also. Both can be saved. Delayed in fruit ripening, packaging and transferring of the food items from one place to another is major issue. Where if fruit get ripened in that area only, in that place only, it cannot be transferred to the many places, and at that time you cannot get good money out of that. So the gene which is responsible for the ripening can be delayed for a long time, and so that the delayed ripening of the food can be saved by the people. So here are some problems, ecological issues, where we use the potential gene escape and superweeds can be formed due to, there are belief among some opponents of the genetic engineering technology people that transgenic crop might cross-pollinate with the related weeds, possibly relating to superweeds that become more difficult to control. Because of using of transgenic things, superweeds can be formed, and these are the difficult issues to solve. Certainly, there are some issues which helping us for the getting rid of many problems. There will be certain problems which cannot be solved as. So definitely we have to work on that, how to solve this issue. So now switching to my own area, where the plant products can be utilized for the diagnostic purposes. Because we wanted to develop our tribal people, it is very easy to develop tribal people by plantation of those things where the medicines can be done, where the medicines can be prepared, and these products can be utilized for the pharmaceutical industries, and this can be utilized by the local Ayurveda people also. Nowadays, we are facing corona problem, and there we found that the so much of Ayurvedic treatments are useful and being used by the people. So it is our own traditional way of treating people, which can be always fruitful, but we ignored it so much. This can be propagated with this tribal population. So this is one of the Legistomia species of plant by which we can prepare some diagnostic tools, and this can be utilized by this can be cultivated by the people. Not only this plant, there are many plant products which can be cultivated and used for the treatments. So what lectins do? Lectins are the bioactive plant proteins. These are the protein molecules. These are having carbohydrate specificity. This agglutinates to the bacteria, virus, and bacteria and viruses. So once this lectin is being isolated from the plant material, we need to first identify whether lectin is present in that plant or not. See, if I say Legistomia speciosa is a plant which is having a lectin present in the leaf of the plant, then we extract that lectin and that can be utilized for the diagnostic purpose. See, here I am showing that AB, ABD, these are the blood group. That particular plant product can be used for the identification of blood groups also. Then here some of the bacteria is being agglutinated by the lectins. So this can be utilized in the ointment preparation where the bacterial infections are there. It can be applied on the boils or blisters so that the pus formation will not be there in the wounds. Secondly, any bacterial infection which can be on the plant, on the animal or on the human being, this can be utilized for the treatment purpose. Then these are the RBCs where presenting antigens on it, and these are recognized by the peptides and lectins. So what agglutination means? The RBCs having a surface markers where the glycosylated molecules are present. There are receptors. This can be bound each other and it will be inactivate if it bounds. So agglutination is one of the characteristic feature of the lectin which can be helpful in the identification. And RBCs are one of the source to identify it. So how it can be used in the plantation purpose? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. You are audible.
Okay, okay. So where the tribals can get help of this lectin. This is very easy to identify, very easy to isolate, very easy to cultivate. So don't look at the big lengths. You look at the productivity of that particular protein. So there are it is always present in the leguminous plant mostly. So also helping in the leguminous plant to give a more yield. So during development of the root of the nodules, if lectins can be applied on it with the rhizobium, we know groundnut plant, there the legumes are there, there the rhizobiums are there, these nodules are there. So here rhizobium fixation is there, right? It does nitrogen fixation. This nitrogen uh, is taken up by the plant, and the basic backbone of the protein is nitrogen, right? So whatever the nitrogen fixing will be there in the plant by the rhizobia will be the present in the seeds. So if we want the protein content will be high in the seeds, then we have to give more rhizobia, more nitrogen fixation, and more nodules fixation more nodules should be there to fix the nitrogen, right? So if with that, if we add lectins to it, it will be agglutinated with the lectin, so it will be active for more time. It will react with the lectin, and it can be impregnated with the seeds can be impregnated with the lectins as well as rhizobia, and when rooting will be there, the more and more nodules formation will be there. So nitrogen fixation will be there, the product will be there, seeds will be there, legumes will be there, legumes will be more. So accordingly, if we add after cultivation, if we add lectin solution to it, it will give a more yield. So this experiment was done by me only. So I am confirmed with this how the rhizobia cultures help in the root formation and nodule formation. So rhizobia culture and lectin can increase the yield, right? Nextly, if we prepare a lectin solution and spread it on the plants, then the insects, what insects will do? Insects will eat that lectin, which is toxic to the animals, which is toxic to the insects. So when it eats it through the gut, uh, it cannot be passed through the gut. It will be attacked on the gut, and it will, when the transcription will be there at the 16S RNA and formation of a transcription, formation of a protein, it will be attacked on the gut, and these larvae or these insects will be died. So this is a good insecticidal protein also. If there are different types of lectin. So C type of lectin is very common for the this kind of application. It is acting on the bacteria, virus, fungi, and plasmodium. So it can be used in the malaria treatment as well as viral treatment as well as bacteria, fungi as well as insecticide. So this can go to the gut and it will not help in the transcription. So the here the attacks will be there to the larvae and it can die. So how does it purify? Firstly, we have to screen the plant for identification of lectins. We have to do purification characterization. We have to see the reactivity with. I have used it for the oral rectal bladder cancer and some different types of cancer. So I'll show you how it can be utilized for the other cancers also. Reactivity of lectins with the exposed population and industries we did. Then we found hemagglutination unit, that is protein content in that. So for this, we have to go for sugar inhibition assay because it is a carbohydrate specific protein. This is one of the assay we have to do. Then pH and temperature sensitivity we have to see. Protein content we have to estimate. We have to go for the SDS page analysis, and we did anti-cancer activity. So how this protein can be used in the anti-cancer treatment as well as anti-cancer agent. So these are the morphology of the RBC, where these are some glycophorin kind of a protein. These proteins are having a presenting cells. So these are the antigen, these are the ligands which bind to the lectin, and once it binds to the lectins, it gives message for the apoptosis. Here you can see the lectin binds over here and gives the message to the P21, P74 cascade, and here cell apoptosis and cell program cell death can be there. Here caspase mediated, caspase 9873 mediated apoptosis is there. Here a different different mediated apoptosis is there. So once the lectin bind to the surface of the cell, it gives message for the apoptosis. This is very common to the cancerous patient. It binds to the glycosylated portion of the cells because glycosylation will be more in the cancer cells. So it binds there because the markers and glycosylated sialylated markers will be more in the cancer cells. So it goes and binds there and it gives message for the self apoptosis of the cell. So cell get arrest, cell will die, and so that if it gives us a treatment molecule through the injection, it will go and bind to the tumorogenic cells, and the other cells can be saved, but tumorogenic cells can be died. So likewise, there are certain nanoparticles prepared where the ligands of the lectins can be used, and certain diagnostic assays have been prepared. So in our case, with the help of the plants, we have prepared a screening tool, and healthy population with the individual healthy individuals with the cancerogenic or the industry workers can be differentiated with the this molecule lectin. So it is very easy. Non-invasive cancer marker can be screened for the risk population. It is a cost-effective mass screening marker. It helps of the with the help of this simple plant technique to differentiate cancer population from normal population. This exposed area will surely compel government to think on the serious issues, and develop tests will be definitely helpful to govern the politics policies in the identification of cases. Like if this product can be prepared in the fields and it can be utilized by the diagnostic laboratories, definitely this molecule will give lot of money to the people, and it can be used as a diagnostic marker. And this marker is pre-diagnostic, not like the person is having cancer and after that we are identifying or treating. It is not like that. It is a pre-diagnostic molecule, so we can differentiate the population of a normal and the cancer with this lectin. Hence, this study opens a new prospects to look upon the Legistomia species lectin for, for contemplating it as a marker for cancer in epidemiological screening. Because there are many industries in Ballarpur area, you found there is a paper mill, and there are the increase of cases of cancers I found where the effluent is being passed in the Varda river and that water is being consumed by people. That idea was governed from there only to implement this project. So I found there are many types of cancer patients were there in that population, in that bed. So what have we learned? If the populations can be screened in an early stage, the patients can be saved easily. So these are the papers which published on this area. So we have used it for the oral rectal and bladder cancer. By this lectin news, we have identified these cases. So with this biotechnological approaches, what we can do? Newer varieties of the crop can be developed, regeneration of plant material in specific conditions so as to make the crop free from any diseases. Once it is biotechnology is applied during the mutation, it results in genetic diversity whereby we are able to produce hundreds of varieties of crop. As I said, vitamin A rich crop we have prepared. We have got genetic diversity so that the insecticides, no need to spread insecticides on the plant. Biotechnology is being extensively used in improving common ornamental plants, in particular trees and shrubs. It also contributes to the biofuel industries. As we know, we are trying to prepare a biofuel from the plants nowadays. So there is enzyme optimization technique and genetic engineering is being used to develop better field stocks with more efficiency and capacity. Improving plants and animals via cross-pollination, crossbreeding, and grafting. Biotechnology also contributes to biofuel industries in cleansing, fermenting of a biodiesel, biooil, bioethanol. It helps in developing pesticide-resistant crop, allowing farmers to eliminate selective nearby weeds and also not harming the crop. Transgenic mustard, GM, brinjal, GM rice, herbicide-tolerant onion we have already prepared. So with this we can have a green revolution. We can, if the soil content is good, there is a research where we found that if we are spreading of pesticides and manures, then it can be long lasting in that soil for at least for 10 years. Studies are conducted and the fertilizers and the pesticides were present in the soil after 10 years of the crop production also. The crop was being investigated for the pesticides after 10 years and it is being identified. It is already there after 10 years of the stopping of addition of pesticides. So it is a highly needed area where only tribal population can do because nowadays what we are getting a crop is NPK only. We are spreading and we are getting and we are trying to increase the good quality of the soil, but it is really difficult because we are producing our crops throughout the year. There are perennial crops where we don't get time. Even in the some areas of um, Punjab, if you see, the content in the soil has gone so deep that if we dig the soil and people dig the well and well water is being examined, there also you found the pesticides content. And so it is so difficult that escaping from these all problems. So it is better to use the natural humus, natural vegetation, so that organic farming is very necessary, where only tribal population can help us. So already biotechnology has done much, but there should be a bridge between the tribal population and biotechnology persons, where labs should be there, and there should be a zonal labs which can help to the tribal population to understand the subject first. They need to understand the problem is being we can give them a ready material, but they will not sustain it for a long time because they don't understand how much we suffer to create that product. So training should be given to them intermittently with the learned population, and there should be an installation of small laboratories where they can also work. They can stay for a few hours. They should understand what is going on. No need to understand high technology, but how to take care of that plants and how to take care of their products should be learned to them, and it is not that much difficult to make them learn. And If it is salt free, drought free, heat free, cold free crops, it will definitely gives us a good food. Now also India's situation is like that. We are feeding almost to the half of the country, that much we produce. But even after that, we are lagging behind. We need to think on this line. There are certain post-harvest losses will be there. So it is also reduced due to our revolutionary approach by the biotechnology. Increased uses of mineral efficiency of the soil is one of the major issues which can be solved through biotechnology. Tailor-made plants can be prepared where we don't want starch is more in the rice. That can be done. Nowadays we are eating different kinds of rice for the diabetic people. So tailor-made plantation can be done. Increase in the concentration of curcumin in turmeric. The turmeric which we are sowing and growing, not more than 4-5% curcumin is there in the turmeric. But there are plantations which has 16% of curcumin present in the turmeric. So we should think of that line because curcumin cost is so high. Not only turmeric is important, but curcumin, it gives a value of curcumin to the turmeric. So it depends on the concentration of curcumin. So that variety we should plant so that we can get more productive. We all know BT cotton. Last year we break the bond with the BT cotton. It was licensed, and last year, it is being broken by the US agencies. What happened to that? BT thoracensis toxin was already mutated with the cotton seeds, and we were free from that bugs. But after some time, the bond was break. The seed produced to us, seed given to us, was not Bacillus thoracensis, was not free from that pest. So what happens when it is in the flowering stage? That time only it got infected, and when it forms it is before the cotton formation. The bud is there. Inside the bud, there are so many larvae form. There are so many insects form, and once it is being burst, the flower burst. It comes out with the infected cotton, and we found that there was a huge skin allergy due to that kind of a cotton, and all farmers were wasted their money. They are not getting anything back. Even after the seeds money, they were not able to get. So what happened to it? We are using second, third generation of a BT cotton nowadays also. So we are far better than the foreign people. They are using 10, 12 generation of the BT cotton. So we are in a better condition. Why not we use different kind of a biological biofertilizers and biopesticides approach, which is useful for us, like Nimbodia and other earth which is being used largely. It is a beautiful approach. Gomutra biopesticides are the beautiful approach where we can really do much more things with the help of biotechnology, and that can be served to our nation. Likewise, the BT rice, BT cotton, BT potato, BT soybean, BT corn is also there. We heard about the spirulina rich protein which is being cultivated largely in the tubs and ponds. So nowadays people are after health and they are eating protein rich diet. So the big voluminous protein people are eating and taking and going to the gym. That is nothing but a spirulina powder which is being cultivated by the farmers or biotechnology people. So what take home message I would like to give here is a chemical free food can be served to the population, which can reduce the percentage of the cancers and can save many lives. Money and efforts can be saved if we struggle now for betterment of the tribal population. Tribal traditions and our technologies can see a big change for the society. So I think this can be done with the biotechnology, and tribal population are more better to understand this. They are the untouched area where we can use their potential, their traditions and our technologies can go together. Thank you. Hello. Is there any questions?
Yes, ma'am, I do have one question. Uh, is there any in vitro method to test lectins, like phytochemical analysis methods are there?
Right,
Is there
right.
any direct, like
Yeah,
how lectins?
We just have to extract it from plant, just crush that plant material, okay?
Hmm. Hmm.
Crush with the saline, okay?
Hmm.
0.9% saline रहता है. You
Hmm.
crush it,
Hmm.
filter it, and treat with the herbicides. If herbicides get agglutinated, before that you can do dialysis, or if concentration is more, no need to do dialysis also, okay?
Hmm.
Dialysis, you have to keep against the saline. So
Hmm.
after dialysis, that lectin can be treated with the herbicide, and herbicide, if you found agglutination, it is present there. So it is very
Yeah.
simple approach.
Yeah. And every leguminous plant contain lectin compulsory.
Maximum leguminous plants are having lectins, and I have
Can you suggest a few leguminous plants?
yeah, Kajana Skejan is tuar dal. Tuar dal, all these plants are having lectins, where we eat, no? Like tuar dal, soybean, jackfruit, jack bean is
Okay.
having lectins. Many plants, if you found now, actually
Hmm.
there are certain lectins which are toxic also. So people
Hmm.
are finding nowadays lectin free diet because some people are having high allergy.
Allergic to lectins,
Yeah.
right?
So we need to identify the type of that lectin, which is whether it is toxic lectin or useful lectin. That's all. Once we understand that it is a useful kind of a lectin, then we can use for different applications. Like from
Yeah.
the same tool, development of ELISA, right from binding agent, right from it is being used as a immunoglobulin tagging agent also. It is used for many processes, many technologies.
So commercialization is easy.
Yeah, maximum lectins identification is very easy, and few lectins right from the snail lectin is toxin. So there are certain sea animals also, and river animals which have insects which has lectins. Even inside our body also having lectins. If the patient is suffer from cancer, the glycosylation and cellulation of the cells produces some kind of a lectins which are having some epitopes or some binding capacities to the other agent. So it has more aggregation rather than the normal cells.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, ma'am.
it is
Thank you.
also present in our body also.
No, I'm seriously thinking about this product as a commercial aspect.
Yes, it has lot of commercial input. As I told you, now I can discriminate the population of cancer and normal population because of with the help of a small lectin, and that too without having a symptoms also. That
Yeah.
without
Hmm.
having symptom to the patient, in a first stage, if you identify how it is useful, and there are certain lectins which are purified and given as a chemo agent.
Hmm.
So it is given as an injectable agent, and that
Hmm.
identify the abnormal tuberogenic cells, and it can go and bind over there, and those cells
Hmm.
will be inactive after that sometime, and that can be self die. Right.
Hmm. Actually, thank you so much.
Okay, so all the attending members are requested. In case if you have any queries, you can always, okay, ma'am, there is a query in the chat box, and the query is raised by M. Priya, ma'am. And the query is, ma'am, does fertilizer have any impact on the medicinal value of plants?
Yeah, surely, surely.
Does fertilizer have any impact on the medicinal value of plants?
Yeah, if you use fertilizers, definitely like our plant products, what we are using for grocery and all, using for our daily purpose, that have impact in what, why not on medicinal plants also? Purely the content will be different. Sometimes that fertilizers comes in the plant, which are one of the ingredient of that plant. Like what I said, no, there is a research on grapes. It is being grown after 10 years after stopping the pesticides and fertilizers. Even after that, we found that there is a content in these grapes after 10 years also. So if we start from here also, it takes 10 to 20 years to normalize the soil even. So there is a huge impact. We should use organic farming for all these things. Definitely fertilizers have impact.
Okay, so all the attending members are requested to please, in case if you have any queries, you can unmute yourself and talk to our chief guest directly, or you can also type in your query in the chat box and we can read it out. Ma'am, sometimes it takes them a while to type in into the chat box. So
No problem. Basically, agriculture is not my area. I have tried to accommodate. My area is totally different, diagnostics and all. But I thought, let's start new area also. And I tried to combine my area with agriculture, and it does. Few things I have done, not much in that.
okay, so there is one query from Dr. M. Pungothai, and he is asking,
Yeah.
can lectins be used to raise immunogenic response, ma'am?
Yes, yes. The lectins are being used for the immunogenic response also. These are small molecules as compared to antibodies. So sometimes we start with the lectins, antibodies, and then raise to the animals to get immunity response.
Well, ma'am, it was a really wonderful session. You also came up with, very good solutions that we can adopt. Like you mentioned about establishing small laboratories in tribal areas and, increasing awareness to reduce post-harvest losses and things like that. You also put examples of revolutionary approach that was adopted earlier in India, like in developing BT cotton, and you suggested similar approach that can be adopted in various other areas also. And we can also see from the chat box, it is very evident that the session was a huge success because you see there are people who are already writing. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for a nice presentation, great session, and informative session. And some of them have also requested for the PowerPoint presentation. Well, this is to inform all the attending members that these sessions will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, on the YouTube channel of our college post completion of the short-term training program. So you can always get information from there as well. Uh, and now I will request our honorable coordinator for this short-term training program, Dr. Archana Nimkar ma'am, to please propose vote of thanks for this inaugural function. Over to you, Nimkar ma'am.
Good afternoon, one and all. It gives me an immense pleasure to propose this vote of thanks on behalf of Ballarpur Institute of Technology. This STTP was permitted by AICT and conducted by Ballarpur Institute of Technology. First of all, I would like to thank our patron Sanjay Vasade sir for motivating us to conduct this STTP. I also thank Dr. Rajnikant Mishra sir, Principal and Director of BIT, who is constantly guiding us to conduct such programs. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Shubhangi Pingre ma'am, the chief guest and keynote addressee of this particular function. Ma'am, I must say, it was most informative and very simple and lucid session that anyone can understand. I hope all the participants have understood what you wanted to convey to them. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being with us for this on this occasion. One more personal remark from my side. I'm also the alumni of the same department, Department of Biochemistry, RTIMNU. 1995 batch, and it gives me immense pleasure to see you over here as a chief guest. I personally feel proud that one of my um, I say alumni friends is here to deliver the keynote address. Thank you very much for being with us. And my area of interest is also medicinal plants. I have done my research on medicinal plants. So it was particularly helpful for people like me to do something new in tribal area like Ballarpur. Thank you so much for being with us. I would like to thank Abhijit sir. You have been a special help always to our Ballarpur Institute of Technology. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to thank all the members of organizing committee, and I appreciate and express my thanks to all the dear participants who have attended this program, who are willing to join this program. Thank you very much. I hope this biotechnological related program, biotechnology and its application in agricultural area, will enlighten you to get knowledge that you can apply in your future endeavor. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you so much. And I would like to inform one more thing. Next session is going to be started soon. Dr. Avari sir will join us soon. Abhijit sir will inform you regarding this. Over to you, Abhijit sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much all the attending members for being with us, and once again thank you very much to our honorable chief guest Dr. Shubhangi Pingre ma'am. For accepting our invitation on such a short notice, and she is very already very busy, because we know that she mentioned that she has been recently transferred to ICMR Bangalore. On top of that, she has many more responsibilities, and this in this situation of coronavirus also, she has accepted our invitation and delivered such a wonderful session. So thank you once again, ma'am, for that. And now we would like to inform that the feedback form to fill in the feedback of this session will be shared shortly on the WhatsApp group, and this is where we declare that the session is now concluded, and we will meet back once again for the next session. It will be a 15 minutes break from 1:30 to 1:45, and the next session will start at 1:45 p.m., which will be addressed by Dr. G.K. Avari sir. So thank you very much, and you can join us back using this very same link at 1:45 p.m. Thank you so much.
Thank you.